Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 78 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are talking about communication. Of course, we're focusing on communication and that area of the life framework all this month. And today our topic is ethics, morals, and values in communication. We're going to define them. Then we're going to talk about how it plays out in the good and the bad in different industries, because I think it's important. And I think many of these we can all relate to. And then we're going to look for, as part of our action item today, remember, every day we have an action item. I'm going to define for myself and notice positive and negative ways that ethics, morals, and values show up in communication that I experienced today. Then I'm going to ask myself, how did it make me feel? Because I always want to know, how did it make me feel? Then we are going to notice an example of communication with ethics and morals and values, and then one without ethics and morals and values. And again, ask ourselves, how did that make me feel? And then our challenge is always going to be going forward to make sure that we are being consistent and showing up authentically as who we are and expressing and following ethics, morals, and values as they relate to us and as they're important to us. I need a magnifying glass, of course, as usual. But let's talk about ethics. To me, ethics, and to most people, ethics are the rules or the guidelines that dictate what is and is not acceptable behavior in terms of communication. Specifically, is it honest, respectful, and considerate of others? That would be ethical communication. Unethical communication has a tendency to manipulate, sometimes harm, and be misleading, really misleading, manipulative, or may cause harm. Doesn't always cause harm, but it often does, right? Think of bullies. Is bullying ever an ethical form of communication? I'm going to contend no. Secondly, what are and how do morals play into communication? Morals are our beliefs about what's right or wrong, often tied to religion, spirituality, culture. The culture we grow up in and the culture we experience will have a huge impact on our beliefs or our morals. Our morals are our personal belief and thoughts about what is right or wrong. Are we behaving and communicating in ways that are consistent with our personal, authentic, honest self? And then values, of course, are our core beliefs, the things that we hold most dear and are most important to us. And when we are behaving and communicating consistently and in alignment with our values, our core values, we're being true to ourselves. We are communicating in ways out of kindness, hopefully. Not everybody's kind. It isn't a value for everyone, or core value for everyone. Are we being open and having integrity and being authentic? Again, those are not core values for everybody. And we see that every day in the media, in different walks of life. A lot of times in the news, we see people that are not necessarily having the same morals or values that we do. And that's part of why they're in the news, right? The news points out everything bad and negative in the world for us, or manipulates things that are good to make them look bad or negative, which I would contend is not ethical or moral or in alignment with my personal core values. So we're going to look for communication and strive for. I'm going to really encourage you to always strive for communication with ethics, morals, and values, in your values in mind. And if you do that, if you're true to yourself and being true to, if you're listening to me, you're probably wanting to make the world a better place. So I feel like I'm preaching to the choir sometimes. If you're communicating with integrity and with honesty and openness and with an open heart and with love and kindness, you're going to communicate in a way that's in alignment with who you really are. Of course, if that's who you really are. If you are communicating without ethics, morals, and values, it's probably because of misleading, manipulative, desire to be misleading, manipulative, or maybe even cause harm. I know people that strive to cause harm in other people's lives. I don't understand it, but I've run across people like that in my life. We all have. And usually I try to get away from them as quickly as possible. So let's look at 5 different industries. I'm going to try to do this quickly. I'm going to give you an example of a good ethical, moral, value-based communication and a bad one for healthcare, business and sales, journalism and media, education, and politics and leadership. Why? Because these are all industries that are top of mind right now for anybody that's paying any attention to what's going on in America and in the world over the last, 20 years, plus especially the last 10 years, I would say. So healthcare, a good example is a doctor explains a patient's condition honestly and with empathy, ensuring that they understand the treatment options that they have ahead of them. If somebody gets a cancer diagnosis, they want a doctor who's going to communicate to them realistically and honestly, what are their options? What are the possibilities? A bad healthcare example is a pharmaceutical rep who pushes a drug based on profit rather than its effectiveness for patients. I think we see this in the pharmaceutical industry a lot. They sell drugs and market them in ways that they're not even designed for or ever tested for. Number 2, business and sales. A good example is a salesperson who's upfront about the pros and cons about the product or service that they're offering a potential customer. And they ensure that the customer can make an informed decision. Guess what? Our products and services are not for everybody, so why are we pushing them on everybody? A bad company hides negative effects or side effects of their products or services to boost sales. I will contend that that works in the short term, so it looks like it's a good strategy, but it's always a bad strategy because anytime you put bad out into the world, it will come back to you, usually tenfold, in a very bad way. Journalism and media. Good is a reporter who fact-checks sources and presents an unbiased view of events. Remember when journalism actually did that? It was in my lifetime, believe it or not. Bad journalism media and journalism is a journalist that spreads false information or sensationalizes a story for views and for attention. I'm going to contend that most of mainstream media does that right now. Education. Good is a teacher who encourages open discussion and presents information in a fair and unbiased way. Bad is a professor who grades students unfairly based on personal biases rather than merit. Yeah, we could talk about that one a lot. It's part of why our education system is under scrutiny. 5, politics and leadership, because there aren't a gazillion examples of this going on. Good is a leader communicates transparently, owning up to mistakes, and prioritizing the public's well-being. Bad, a politician makes false promises to win votes without any intention of following through. We've had a lot of examples of that. I was going to share Kendra's story about ethics, morals, and values, but instead I thought I would share a couple of my own. In corporate America, I picked jobs I thought that were in alignment with my ethics, morals, and values. And the way the company, when I interviewed, presented their standing on different things and answered questions that I asked, it appeared that when I went to work for one particular company, it did that. And I found once I joined that organization and was in there a little bit, that there were key core values I held near and dear that were not a match with this organization's operational ethics, morals, and values. And so within a couple of years, I realized that I needed to leave that organization because it was not a fit for me personally, the way they chose to do business. And a lot of it was in the area of sales and the way they presented and sold their products and services to people. They literally would promise potential customers anything they asked for, even if it wasn't technologically, if we couldn't do it, it wasn't even a possibility technologically to deliver that. The sales division, led by the sales VP, would promise a customer absolutely everything and anything they asked for. They never pushed back. They never talked to other parts of the organization to even see if what they were promising was possible. So I was running quality and for that company and doing ISO and things. And I was put in the impossible position where I was made the go-between between our customers and our company in terms of resolving these conflicts that arose time and time again because of overpromising and under-delivering, because we weren't even capable of delivering the things that our sales organization was promising. And I ended up leaving that company because it just was impossible for me to wrap my head around overpromising and under-delivering. It's just not right. It goes against everything I believe in personally as a core value. So I think that's a good example to end on. So today, as you go about your communication, as you're noticing communication around you, is it ethical, moral, and does it meet or match your core values? Guess what? A lot of what we'll hear and see, if it doesn't match our values or what we want to see in the world, we won't even notice it. So be cognizant of the fact that we are often blind, literally and physically, to the things that we don't want to see, right? And so be open to that. That's it. If you have any questions, hit me up today. I love this topic. It's one we really don't talk about very much because it's considered extremely controversial, but I think we need to talk about it. We especially need to talk about it as we are growing and continually improving as part of being a better version of ourselves. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.